start with this. My Heisman candidate so far this year, and I think Georgia keeps doing what Georgia's doing, is Jordan Davis, who is a 6'6" human being. But let me start with this. On Monday, he looked fresh from class wearing a black G polo across his chest and camouflage Crocs on his feet. Yet, he is not the man you want to meet over the nose with football. Again, he is 6'6". He is 340 pounds, and he is the pillar of Coach Kirby Smart's defensive foundation, okay? And he is who Smart will trust to lead the number 1 ranked Dogs against Florida in Jacksonville on Saturday in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. I've been loud about the belief that Davis deserves an invitation to the Heisman ceremony at season's end because he's the best player on the best unit in the sport. But he doesn't care for the individual accolades, and most of the kids don't. Davis told media he doesn't even know when the Heisman ceremony is. And he could care less about his stats. The quote that I wrote down was, "It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we want to do whatever we can to win." It's a good quote. Davis's case for the Heisman is hurt, though, by folks who might vote who aren't actually paying attention to, the game being played and love to stare at a box score. The UGA defense doesn't just use stats made available to the public and media to chart their progress. They've got their own form of accountability. And for a player like Davis, who doesn't see his impact counted as often as others, that matters. Sometimes, even when he makes a play, it can count against him when his coaches grade him out. Davis told media on Monday that he often gets measured individually on each play with a plus if he played the play correctly or a minus if he did not. Quote is, "Even if you're Jalen Carter, or me, or Devontae Wyatt, if we make a tackle for loss and we're out of our gap, that's a minus." Such is the demand for following the scheme at UGA that has helped make this defense the best unit on either side of the football this season. Among the items measured for the Dogs to believe that they've succeeded is holding teams to 13 points or fewer, and it's done just that. In a 106 third down attempts against it, the Pentagon, my nickname for the Georgia defense, has allowed just 33 conversions. That's 31.1%, and ranks number 15 in the country in that metric. The defense has allowed fewer touchdowns, 4, than games played, 7. UGA has given up just 26 points to ranked opponents this season and faced 4 so far. The UGA defense is one of the best scoring defenses of the last 30 years. They also measure how many explosive plays they allow, and it's really not that many. They're holding opponents to just 3.4 yards per play. That's the best mark in FBS and nearly a full yard per play, better than Cincinnati at 4.1. It's 1.2 yards per play better than Ohio State at 4.6. And that's 2.5 yards per play better than Oklahoma, who's allowing 6.1 yards per clip, all of whom have aspirations of playing in the college football playoffs. Still, Florida is one of the best teams in the country at breaking off explosive plays and averages 7 yards per play. That's a gaudy number. This while the offense at Georgia ranks 9th, though, in yards per play at 6.7. For perspective, Alabama's offense picks up 6.6 yards per play, just like Oklahoma's. Davis said, quote, "We have a chart for pretty much everything, and we're always repping havoc. I know havoc was a theme from last year, but that kind of plays into our elite theme this year and leading the league in defense," end quote. Watching Georgia play defense is inspiring because it demands such concentration. Football is tilted to favor the offense. It's not just that the offense has the ball, it's that the offense, like white pieces on a chessboard, has the benefit of moving first. The offense dictates the terms the game will be played on, unless it makes a mistake, and Georgia has been exceedingly good at taking advantage of its opponent's blunders and allowing only what it must. Georgia is doing what other teams have tried to do, but better. An example of a team trying to, and failing, I should say, is 1-6 Kansas in its bid to knock off 8-0 Oklahoma. Watching Kansas hold Oklahoma scoreless, I could not help but marvel at how Kansas coach Lance Leipold had given into the mystery of life, how he chose not to fight the process, but to join it. They ate up the clock and limited OU's possessions in the first half before the Sooners rattled off 35 in a comeback win. But you could see KU and the process at work. Leipold knew OU wanted to score and score as often as possible, but it's difficult to score if you don't have the ball. The process for the Jayhawk defense was to bend by keeping plays in front of them, but not to break and giving up big plays and TDs. When the Sooners had the ball, KU wanted to force them to use at least 3 downs to get a first down and allow them to make mistakes that might result in turnovers or punts. When KU had the ball, they tried to run it and pick up methodical first downs themselves to eat up time of possession, sustain long drives, and score points. In the first half, that worked. KU became the first program to hold OU scoreless in the first half since 2014 Clemson, as I mentioned earlier. Perhaps the biggest difference is UGA's players are just better than KU's players, but the process for winning is the same, and the process needs to be respected. In Dune, great novel, great movie, as at Tuscaloosa with Nick Saban in charge, the process is sacred. It cannot be cheated, and it is not a problem to be solved, but to be experienced. Quote, a process cannot be understood by stopping it. Understanding what must move with the flow of the process must join it, and you must flow with it. As Paul Atreides reciting the first law of Mentat, stay woke fam, if a team is to topple Georgia, the process must be adhered to, and the tremendous talents of youths, not unlike 15-year-old Paul Atreides, who was called to lead the Fremen in a holy war in his father's name, it's striking to me to think the teams with the best chance to beat Georgia all probably depend on youth too. Redshirt freshman Anthony Richardson will likely get a chance to run the offense, if not start, against Georgia this Saturday. In the postseason, Georgia presumably could face Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, a redshirt freshman, or Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud, a redshirt freshman, or Oklahoma quarterback Caleb Williams, who is the only true freshman leading the undefeated Power 5 team this season. Or have you noticed? The UGA offense does not look like the kind that can win a shootout against an explosive and talented offense on the opposing sideline. And while the UGA defense is good, all it takes is a couple explosive plays for TDs to unlock it and put pressure on the UGA offense to score. Still, what a year this could be for UGA, who hasn't won a national title in 41 years and is enjoying its best season since 2017. A worthy challenger might well appear. Perhaps, though, this year, Kirby Smart fulfills his destiny at Georgia as Lisan Al-Gaib, Quitsat Haderek, Mahdi the Muad'Dib, or, what we might call a national champion. Hey, kinfolk, I appreciate you for watching. Subscribe here and ring the bell so you don't miss the latest upload to the channel. Also, be sure to watch more videos here, like FS1 Studio shows and the best from Fox Sports and Fox Sports Digital.